Welcome to Week 1. In this video, I provide a brief overview of some of what I consider to be the historical underpinnings of student affairs. For links to some additional resources and supplemental readings that accompany this video, please open the lecture notes page in Week 1. As you will see, it can be difficult to talk about the history of student affairs without also discussing broader moments in the history of higher education in the United States. It seems as though any conversation about the history of American higher education involves Harvard. Founded in 1636, the Massachusetts colonists, with the support of the British Crown, saw a need to provide training for clergy in the colonies. Harvard College, sponsored by the Methodist Church, was not the only game in town for long, as several other church groups spawned colleges to train clergy in their own faith traditions. The private colonial colleges held their own for better than 100 years before leaders and men of influence began having discussions about the needs for a public option of higher education that would aid in the training of leaders for the young democracy. 3 states are credited with materializing colleges out of these yearnings before the dawn of the 19th century. The University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, pictured as the water fountain, the University of Tennessee at Knoxville, pictured as the statue, and the University of Georgia, pictured as the gates in the lower left-hand corner. So I mentioned 3 states. Why then is there a 4th picture? While the University of South Carolina, pictured as the gates in the lower right-hand corner, wasn't chartered until 1801, leaders in the state made observations that for every institution that opened in the 1700s, it seemed as though one were closing. From this observation, South Carolina state leaders developed concrete financial plans to keep their public college open. As it happened, South Carolina College did close once because all of the students and faculty volunteered to fight in the American Civil War. Instruction to this point looked very different than what we think of in terms of collegiate classrooms today. At most, faculty held master's degrees and were more proctors than teachers, monitoring students' progress through recitation. By 1828, some institutions were beginning to explore different areas of study beyond the classic curriculum of Latin, Greek, and mathematics. Those different fields of study included what were considered more practical areas, such as engineering. The faculty of Yale took issue with these newfangled approaches and produced the Yale Report of 1828, which was a referendum in support of the classical curriculum, citing that the purpose of college education is, quote, the furnishing of the mind, end quote. Their plea to maintain the status quo fell on a sea of deaf ears. With diversification in collegiate curricula, there was an increasing need to address the training of faculty. Through the second quarter of the 19th century, more and more faculty were leaving the United States for Germany for advanced studies in academic disciplines. What they brought back to America was a new credential, the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, a training that emphasized discovery, aka research. As more and more faculty in America were being trained in this tradition of inquiry, the faculty role began to evolve. No longer were faculty on campus to monitor students' lives, but to contribute to the development of the knowledge base in his or her academic discipline. Yes, there were some female faculty members, even in the 1850s. For this reason, the 1850s mark a significant shift in American higher education. I hope that this video has given you a brief snapshot of some key historical moments in American higher education. In the next video, we will get into some specifics about the development of student affairs.